Yo, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. This is HD StarCraft, and it's time for Game 3 between Dignitas Killer and MVP Tails. And the last game, well, I guess I should introduce the players first. Dignitas Killer is going to be the yellow Zerg at the 8 o'clock position. His opponent spawning across from him on Antigua Shipyard is going to be the orange Protoss, MVP Tails. And the last game, I can finally say this. The last game, really, we saw Hydras make a cameo appearance, but this is the thing about Hydras, man. If you're going Hydras against Protoss, it better be for an all-in. Like I said before, this is not Heart of the Swarm yet. We don't have Hydra speed yet. Those Hydras are slow as snails. And if you're going to go Hydras against Protoss, I thought for sure Killer was going to go for an all-in. I thought Killer was looking really prime because Hydras are a really good counter against anything but Colossus, anything but Storm, anything but Mass Charge Lot Archon. Basically anything but late game Protoss, Hydras are pretty good. And so I thought Killer was going to go for this all-in the mid game with his Hydras, but then it just kind of started to taper off a little bit, where Killer was just like, well, I'm going to set everything in, and his army just wasn't enough. And that's the thing about Hydras, man. It's hard enough to pull off the all-in with them. It can work, but if you're not mobilizing them with something like a Lennox style Nidus Network Hydra attack, or an Overlord Mass Doom Drop with Hydras, they're so slow, it's not very effective. So it was a really weird game. And then Dignitas Killer was just stuck with Hydras for like the rest of the game, and it was just like, well, at this point it's just like he's tied up on the ropes and he's waiting for the guys to just stone him to death. Stone me now, kill me now. And I was just waiting for him to die, and eventually he did, obviously, but yeah, Hydra's just weird unit. At least until we get their speed upgrade in Heart of the Swarm, it's a very hard unit to pull off in this matchup unless you're going all in. And it was almost like Killer was trying to transition out of Hydras. It was just such a strange play. So we'll see what happens this time. I don't think he's going to go Hydra Den again. We saw what happened last game. Oh my god, there are pylons coming up. I do apologize, did not catch this. There's pylons coming up behind the middle field. There's 3 pylons, so there's room for a photon cannon. And he cancels the pylon to the left, and Killer could be in some trouble here. But because Tails canceled to the pylon to the left, that means one drone can sneak in and attack that photon cannon. But here comes the Zerglings, and this is going to be tough, I think, for Tails to be able to pull off with the Zerglings coming out. This is why Zerg don't go hatch first anymore, because of the shenanigans. And now with the Zerglings out on the field, I don't think the cannons are going to work at all. The cannons will have to be canceled off. Man, Tails really does not like going into the late game against Zerg. Trying to end the game right there with the pylons and the cannons. I guess he wasn't trying to end the game, he was just trying to do a little harass. But it did not work, and Dignitas Killer takes a slight lead right there. Didn't really lose that much mining time, only sent a couple of drones down south. And now I think Killer in the slight lead because he was able to force the cancel on those pylons and cannons. And was he able to kill off the probe as well? Let's look at the units lost tab. Actually, yeah, there it is. Protoss losing 299. So a slight edge in the beginning of this game going to Dignitas Killer. That's going to help him here in Game 3 if he wants to take the edge in this set. And it looks like there is the probe. The pesky little bugger it is going to try to make its way back in to get a little more scouting information. Tails is going to have to micro this correctly so he does not lose it, because there's a lot of Zerglings chasing it down right now. That's about 7 Zerglings, and unfortunately for probe, Zerglings are a little bit faster, so eventually that probe will get killed off as it takes one shot every few seconds or so, and you can hear that from the Zerglings. As there is a wall coming up from MVP Tails Cybernetics Core, and then a Zealot or something will be able to plug the leak right there. Nexus on the way, coming out right now, warping in from Ire, and that probe did go down. And so scouting information going to be all but denied here. One interesting side effect of going for the pylon and the cannons is it did force a lot of Zerglings out of Killer. Typically, you don't see this many Zerglings on the field in this matchup this early on. But the interesting side effect, it's like a ripple effect here, is because now there's so many Zerglings on the map, it actually fully denies scouting from the Protoss player until observers can come out. And that is, of course, assuming that Killer is on point with the Zergling control, that he sees when an observer comes out on the map. The other painful thing, though, for Zerg is it does force him to lose some drones. Those Zerglings would have otherwise been drones, and most Zergs would prefer drones over having Zerglings on the map. I'm hoping here that Killer controls the Zerglings well and doesn't allow probes to sneak out across the field, but it looks like one probe was able to make its way out. I don't know where this probe came from, but he was able to get a pylon on the map, but the Overlord is going to scout it out. So now Killer knows, okay, there is a pylon down there. He's going to send his Zerglings down there and take it out. So nice scouting movement by the Overlord, and he was able to see that as the probe makes its way inside the base and checks for that third hatchery, which it is up and running. And right now it looks like Dignitas Killer deciding, do I want to go after the probe or do I want to go after the pylon? It looks like he's going to split 3 and 3, try to go after both, but he will miss the probe. No, he will not. He gets the probe in the middle of the map. Nice by Dignitas Killer. And so far, I really think everything going good for Killer. Getting these slight little edges which help him in the mid game. It's going to really help him set himself up. Doesn't have to worry about you know, those little small advantages going in the way of the Protoss, and his pylon will fall as well. One less thing to worry about should MVP Tails go for some type of 7-gate all-in. And right now it doesn't look like he will. He will try to go for the third Nexus and play catch-up from here, getting his economy under wraps and trying to get as much probes out as he can. But this, I don't think this worked out too well for him on Antigua Shipyard. Last time he tried to play a macro game, he actually did not do so well, so we'll see what happens here. One Zergling was able to leak its way into the third base, and it will get picked off by the sentries and zealots, but not before it gets a full detail and relays that information back home. Now Killer knows, okay, not facing off against the all-in Tails, and I can go ahead and play a macro game myself. So for the next 2 minutes or so, expect the drones. The D key will be used for Dignitas Killer. Wait a minute here. Is there no Nexus? Oh my god, he just canceled his Nexus. So much for not playing against the all-in Tails. It looks like Tails has canceled the Nexus, and he's going to go for an all-in after all. Now, I don't think he's got... Oh, yeah, he does have a lot of warp gates. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 warp gates. And Tails, once again, trying to pull off the unexpected. Gonna go for the all-in here with +1 armor, and I would imagine +1 weapons is finished. There it is. Oh my god, Tails is so sneaky and sly. Is this going to work against Killer? Does Killer expect it? And Killer right now has got to be thinking, why is he pushing across the middle of the map? He should not be pushing right now. He should be playing safe and economical and getting Colossus. That's not the case. Tails is pushing in, he's going all in again, and I cannot believe this. I don't think Killer's ready at all, man. I don't know if he is. He's making 12 roaches right now. Roach speed is so far away, and the rocks are beginning to go down. The destructible debris will fall, and Tails, oh my god, so all in. He's going to try to bust his way up the ramp. If he can get up here, this is such a nasty position for Zerg to deal with because he cannot really get the flank. It's so hard once the Protoss has a high ground with the sentries, and now the roaches getting cut off by force fields. Does Dignitas Killer have enough roaches to hold this off? He may have to pull back and wait for a better position, wait for the force fields to dissipate, but he can't wait. He has to fight here. One queen has fallen. Drones being retreated back to the mineral stacks. Does Dignitas Killer have enough forces to hold this off? One sentry might drop. It does drop, but Stalkers are coming in mass, and Tails might just have enough to make this a successful all-in. Oh, this is such a close game right now. Roaches and Zerglings trying to funnel out for Dignitas Killer, but he's going to lose the hatchery. The all-in is successful. Now the question is, does Tails want to transition out of this and play a macro game, or does he want to go for the straight, I'm going to win right now all-in? We'll just have to wait and see. There's a robotics facility coming down and a Twilight Council. So he may just transition out of this yet. There is no third Nexus so far, but he is teching up in the background as the Roaches and Zerglings coming around the backside. One reason for the robotics facility, though, I don't think it's for Colossus, but I do think it's for observers, just in case the Roaches decide to research Burrow to counter this all-in. Then the observer will come in quite handy. Obviously, the Twilight Council is for Blink as well. So I don't think Tails is going to transition. I think he's just getting the tech he needs to continue to play this very aggressive game, but he gets caught in the middle of the field. Oh my god, he needs Blink so bad right now. Interception! And Tails is going to lose all of his Stalkers. Oh my god! And Burrow comes down as well, revealing itself, and now Killer can just completely regenerate his roaches. Nothing that Tails can do about that. And Tails, oh no, Tails' all-in is not gonna work. Well, it did work, but then it just didn't work. And Killer now is looking really good, ladies and gentlemen. Killer can just thrust his roaches into the front door, and there's nothing that Protoss can do about that. It's literally game over right now. And I can't believe this. Dignitas Killer is going to go take another win in this set. And he's just moments away from doing it. He's gonna barrel through this front door, and there's nothing Tails can do. There's literally nothing. This is looking just as bleak as when Dignitas Killer went Hydras and there was Colossus on the field. That's how bleak it looks right now for Protoss, maybe even worse. And we're just waiting for the GG here from Tails. This is pretty much game over. Wow, if Tails had not gotten himself caught in the middle of the field with his Stalkers, really would have been a different game, I think. I thought for sure Tails could have pulled back and played a macro game, or at least transitioned into more aggression with Blink and Observers, but did he ever get caught or what? Like a fish in a net. His Stalkers retreating there where they were, just totally getting surrounded in the middle of the field. And there it is. Dignitas Killer has taken another win in this set. It is now 2-1, and we're going to go on to game number 4. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is HD, signing out.